All right, now what we're looking at here is a bandsaw. So as part of the one of our basic static machines, it's a machine which is used to cut freehand shapes predominantly. We can also do ripping on here as another alternative. So what we're going to go through the process of today is to actually show you how to actually operate a bandsaw, also show you how to actually change a bandsaw blade and actually put the blade back onto the machine. Alright, what we've got here is a bandsaw blade which I'm going to demonstrate how to fold. I'll give you one example to start with, and we'll have a look at maybe at a couple others as well. So first thing we're going to do is, if you look at the blade itself, the teeth are pointing towards the operator. This is how it would normally come off the bandsaw blade. If you had a bandsaw blade, you would actually take that off. You would place it with your thumbs on the outside, fingers on the inside. You can put your foot on the bottom of the blade, and then as part of the process just twist inward so that it actually folds the blade in half with the teeth pointing inwards. Once that's been done, put the blade in your left hand, and then with your right hand simply pick up this side of the blade, put it on the inside of that there with your two fingers, or your thumb and finger there. Just release this one and then bring it together. Another method to fold a bandsaw blade is similar to the other one, where you've got your fingers on the inside, teeth pointing upwards in this case, thumbs on the outside, put your arms at arm length like so, and basically just lift and walk towards the blade, and then without turning your wrist, just fold your arm straight over like so. And there you have it. The third method would be to place the teeth pointing towards you once more. Place your feet on the bottom of the blade. Bring your two hands together, and with your thumbs twist away from you. Once, twice, 3 times, and then let the blade drop. What we're about to do now is to actually change the blade on the bandsaw. So the first thing we need to do is to actually isolate the machine so that the machine can't be started while we're actually changing the blade. What we're going to do now is to actually remove the guards. So we're going to, the top wheel guard, then the bottom wheel guard, Alright, we've now removed the blade, and what we'll do now is we'll put a new blade onto the actual bandsaw. We've now got our new blade, so what we'll need to do is to open that up, and the important thing is to ensure that the teeth of the blade on the side where it's actually going to onto the table need to be pointing downwards. Now, should the blade be where the teeth are pointing upwards, you would simply twist the blade inside out so that the teeth would now be pointing in a downward direction. So once we've now established that the teeth are pointing down, we can now take the blade and we'll put that directly back onto the wheels. Now once we've got the blade tightened, and we can check to ensure that it's actually at the right tension by, there's a gauge on this particular machine which the blade is 10 millimetres. So we set the gauge to 10 millimetres on this gauge here. And what we need to do now is to check, make sure that the blade is actually running true on the actual wheel. So in order to do that, we need to actually spin the wheels, and we'll actually check to make sure that it's actually tracking properly. So I'll just come around here, and we'll actually spin the blade. In the event that the blade is not sitting true on the wheels, we can, on the back of the machine, there is actually a cantilever adjustment. So simply undo the lock there, and then we can tilt by turning left or right, depending on which direction we want to go. We want to tilt the blade in or tilt the blade out based on the direction that we have here. Once you've got that set, then simply lock it in. Now that we've got the wheel or the blade tracking on the wheel correctly, we now need to set the guide rollers and the friction wheel up onto the actual blade. So that's the next process. So what we'll do is we'll do that right now. What we're going to do now is we're now going to set the guide rollers so that they are level with the bottom of the gullets of the teeth. So to do that, we'll bring the guide rollers forward, and we'll set that so that it's in line with the gullets of the back of the teeth there, or at the bottom of the gullet, as you can see. Once that's been done, we can now lock that in position. That's now been set. Then the next step is to adjust the friction wheel so that it's actually 0.3 of a millimetre gap between the blade and the actual wheel itself. So we'll bring that forward. That's now set. What we're going to do now is bring the guide rollers, the left roller and the right roller, to within 0.25 of a millimetre to the actual blade. So just a very small gap. Now to ensure that that is set correctly, if we turn the wheel, or the rollers should not move. So if these are turning, it means that we're actually too close to the actual blade. That's now set. We can now close this guard. Lock that back in place. And we can also close off the guard here. So that's now back in place. Top and bottom wheel guards back in place. And we're now ready to test to see whether the machine is now set correctly with the blade. What we're going to do now is just check the blade to make sure it's actually running correctly. So first of all, we'll turn the isolation switch back to the on position. And now simply it's a matter of actually turning the machine on. But what we're going to do is when we actually turn it on, we'll do it in a sequence. We won't actually turn it on full. We'll actually test it to make sure that it's running properly. And check or listen out for any clicking noises where in fact maybe the blade's going to break. Alright, so what we do is we actually push that in, let it start up, see what it's doing. It seems to be running okay. Yep. And that's all good.